So this lesson is going to be on quadratic inequalities. So we're asked to solve quadratic inequalities by considering the graph of their function. Okay, so what this question is asking us is to solve x squared minus 3x minus 28 for when it's bigger than 0. So basically what it's saying is what x values give an answer that it's going to be greater. So this lesson is going to be in quadratic inequalities. So we're asked to, we're told that solving quadratic inequalities. This lesson will be on quadratic inequalities. We're asked to solve quadratic inequalities by considering the graph of their function. So we're asked to solve for x here, where x squared minus 3x minus 28 is going to be greater than 0. So what we're going to need to do is factorize this down to its factors. Okay. So we're going to have 28, so its factors are 128 and 2 times 14 and 4 times 7. So we're looking for a difference of 3. Okay, so it's going to be 4 and 7 x, and then we're going to have, we want minus 3, so we want the larger one to be negative, so x plus 4 and x minus 7. Okay, there are the factors. Now sometimes it's easier just to first off think of them equal to 0. Okay, so I'm saying x equal to negative 4, then x equal to positive 7. Okay, so what does this really mean? Well, I can see here it's a max. It's going to be a minimum turning point. Okay, so I know there's going to be roots at negative 4 and 7. Okay, so I know that the graph of the function is going to look something like this. Okay, so it's asking me to solve it for when it's greater, when the equation is going to be greater than 0. Okay, well we can see here that it's going to be greater than 0 here and greater than 0 here, but in here it's less than 0, so we're not interested in that. So what we need to say is an expression that says when the solution is when x is less than negative 4 and when x is greater than 7. Okay, so all the way down it's going to be all the way to negative infinity, below minus 4 is going to give you a solution that's greater than 0, and all the way to positive infinity above 7, but anywhere between these two you actually get a negative solution, so that's what we don't want. Okay, let's look at another example. So here we're asked to solve it by considering your graph. So again, it's a different quadratic, but this one is minus 8, so not minus 8, 8 plus 2x minus x squared. So minus x squared plus 2x plus 8 is greater than 0. I like to rewrite them so I can read it better, but however you like to do it. So we're thinking of something that's going to go up to positive 8 and have a difference of 2, and we also need to make sure you're factoring in this negative x squared term that can be tricky sometimes. Okay, so when I have a negative x squared term, I tend to write my brackets the other way around. I'll give one of them a negative here. Okay, so what are my factors going to be? 1 times 8 or 2 times 4? Well, 2 times 4, 2 and 4 have a difference of 2x, which is what I'm looking for. I want a positive 2x, so I'm going to want this 4x to end up being positive. Okay, so I'm not going to want it to be multiplied by the negative, so plus 2 over here. Okay, so I'm going to set this equal to 0 again, so you end up with x equal negative 2 and x equal to 4. Right, so what this means, I've got negative 2 and I've got 4 over here. Okay, and at this time it's actually a maximum turning point. Okay, it's a maximum turning point between in this graph because of this negative coefficient at the front. So actually my graph's going to look like this. Okay, so the question's asking me solve for when this is greater than 0. Okay, well it's greater for 0 here. Okay, between these two values. The only time it's above 0 is when it's bigger than -2 and less than -4. So we need to write that in now. So our final answer is x is greater than -2 and x is less than 4. Some people get tripped up by these inequality signs, but if you write it out, think about it equals 0 first, then you really need to draw a sketch, and then from the sketch you should be able to see what you want to write down, because it makes sense. You just read it as a sentence, you know, when x is greater than 2 or when x is less than 4. Okay, one more example. Okay, solve the quadratic inequality by considering the function of its graph. So here, I'm going to have to just factorize this again. So this is a minimum turning point. No, yes, minimum turning point. Okay, 15. So 1 times 15 or 3 times 5. Yeah, it's going to be a difference of 5, or 5 take away 3 is going to be 2. So it's going to be plus 5 and -3. So plus 5 minus 3. So x is equal to -5 and x is equal to 3, 0. Okay, what about now? So we've got a root at -5 and we've got a root at +3, and this is going to have a minimum turning point. It's going to have a shape like this. And what's the equation asking us? It's asking us when is it going to be less than 0. Okay, so we're in this. When is it going to be here? Okay, it's going to be here when x is greater than or equal to -5, or x is less than or equal to 3. So remember, it's just a point of note here in the question. They ask us for when it is less than or equal to, so make sure in your answer you use the less than or equal to notation, because otherwise because it's saying we're interested. Before they were only interested in when it's positive, negative, but now they're saying, you know, when it is less than or equal to. Just a little point.